started this series called Better Buckle Up, Babe, and it's about all the things that actually moved the needle for me when I was beginning my journey to just becoming a better version of myself. And if you've seen it before, welcome back. If you're brand new, I'm so happy to have you here. This is perfect timing, and this is actually just going to be part one. We're going to start with the basics, and I'm so glad you're here. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay. So the first step is to create a folder, whether it be in your notes app or your platform of choice, and I would name it something very encouraging. For the sake of this, we'll call mine Better Buckle Up, Babe, and within that, you'll have your mini folders. So in each different folder, you'll have a different portion of your life that you want to manage, and then that way you can create different tabs within each folder and go into as much detail as possible. So the first one for me is appointments, right? And so within that, the first tab that I created under the appointments folder is called routine things to do / appointments. For me, I need to know every year which things do I need to do to feel put together, how often do I need to do them, and when is the best time to schedule them. So for my hair, where do I go? How often do I go? What do I need to do before and after appointments? For my nails, who do I go to? How often do I go? How much am I spending? Do I know if I'm getting a design, or like what do I need to do for the maintenance? Doctors, whether that be like your gyno, if you have anything to track, or just your annual visit, your gastro for me, and for all the girlies with tummy issues, we got to do that. Your dentist, whether that's your usual checkups or if you have actual work to do. Your general physician, know your blood type. That's another one. Neurology, if you need that. Facials is a big one that I have because I know my skin, and my skin does really well having hydration, and just like it makes me feel put together to have someone else do that. I'm also just a big component in outsourcing as much as I can, but I also feel you should be financially responsible with what you outsource. I put church on here because a big thing for me was figuring out what my church home was going to be. Dermatology, because I had issues with my scalp and I wanted to address those. I also, in my head, thought I had discoloration, but I guess I was just breaking out. And then I thought I had under eye bags. Maybe they're just fine lines. She kind of just looked at me like I was crazy. So we have not been back there. Optometrist or ophthalmologist, depending on which one you go to. I wear contacts, so I like to go there if I'm not going to a regular doctor and get my eyes checked. Also, if you need to see an eye doctor, you get your prescription refilled, you should do that. Nutritionist, also very important. I like to go so that I can be on track for the kind of meals that I'm eating and be better about what I'm filling my plate with, because I'm a huge snacker. Therapy. Sorry, that got cut off. Therapy is... The thing is, I feel like having a therapist or having a life coach is just such an instrumental thing. Even going back to the nutritionist part, having the right kind of meal service, if you can have one, life-changing. But I feel at different points in my life, when I have the right therapist or when I have the right coach, I'm able to navigate a lot of my problems or like things that I'm navigating by myself in a better way. So yeah, I think that's a great one. I'm actually looking into getting a new one next month. Working out / class of choice. For some people, it's Pilates. For me, it may go back to being ballet. It might be bar. It might just be going to the gym. Your gym appointment, that should be in here. Brows, if you're a brow girl. I wanted to be a brow girl. They told me that I didn't need to do anything to my brows. So they sent me away. But you may be a brow girl, you might be a lash girl. So make sure you have that on there. Massages, same thing with facials. I feel like I carry a lot of tension, and it shouldn't just be when I'm getting my pedicure or my nails done that I get any sort of massage. I love a massage. I feel like I should get those as often as I can. So that's on here. If you need to find a package, find a package. laser hair removal. I love that. I've never waxed. I don't know if that's like, I don't know. I think it was just like not therapeutic, but there was something to going to like a very posh office and getting a service done. So that's why that was on my list. I haven't done it again in a while, probably like a year and a half. So I wanted to get back on it. I don't know if I will. Tailoring, we're at the age, regardless of what age you are, tailor your clothes. The clothes that I used to be like a mannequin shopper, like I would see how certain stores would dress their mannequins, and I was like, oh, that's what I want. You know, a lot of clothes in the stores are not just built for us to take off the rack, so you need a good tailor. Invest in a good tailor. On that same topic, find a good laundry or dry cleaner. Like, find someone who you trust with your clothes. Sometimes it can be in the same place as your tailor, in the case of me. And I like that they're just like in the same place, because sometimes they're like, oh, like I need this like cleaned. And they're like, no, we're going to send this to the wash. Or like, here, you can get this tailored and then we'll like clean it. One-stop shop. Love that. Mentoring check-ins. This is very important. Has been very important to me since I was young. Your mentors should not be like a chore. You should treat those like proper relationships that you want to nurture, and you will go so much farther. On the same length, or in the same length, on the same topic, networking, schedule time to network sometime in the year. Like, I think you should just like figure out ways to get outside that feel authentic to you, where you can meet new people. You don't need to have an agenda, but like go outside and meet new people. Last two things, cooking or creative classes. That's personal to me. I feel like you should have something that's not just a hobby, but just like a creative outlet. I feel like I want to be better at chopping things and like slicing and frying and sauteing. Like, I want to know more techniques. So for me, the thing is cooking. You can choose what you want. If you are an artist or if you are musically inclined, find your creative outlet. Last one in this section, laundry. No, I just said that. I'm like looking at the list. Home organizing and decluttering. Please, 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 please. If there's nothing else that you do, gift yourself the joy of having someone else clean your home. Just like, I know you probably do your weekly or daily cleaning routine. You clean your fridge, you clean your common area, you do your laundry, you go under the bed, like you do whatever it is in your place of living. But there is something so nice about having someone with like the additional tools and the actual time to do all the things that you may not think to do, or to do the things that you don't have the time to do as often as you do. You can choose any time in the year to do it. You can do it as often as you can afford, or you hope to do it, or you want to do it. But I do feel like that is something you should gift yourself. My friends who do it love it, and I just 10 out of 10 would recommend. So yeah, that's like the start. I can go into more detail about the folder itself and like anything else in it, because then I break down in additional tabs. Like, I have a facials tab, so like for me, I know that I'm working on my dehydrated skin, and my goal is to reduce discoloration on my cheeks and under eyes. This was like my old goal when I thought I had things going on. I have places that I want to try. I have people that I've been recommended. I have a tab for my general physician appointments, things that I want to follow up on, because I also feel like it's really important as we get older to keep a copy of the documents that they have on their computer. So for me, with my blood type, with the number count of like where certain test results were, so I can figure out what has changed and what hasn't changed and keep track of that on my own. I have a dermatologist one, because again, I wanted to know, on this day I went here, I asked about this, she said yes or she said no. I asked about tretinoin. She told me the side effects of tretinoin. I had to figure out if it was worth it for me. I talked about hair loss, and we talked about the fact that, you know, I could get prescribed certain things. Was it worth the risk? To me, no. Do I have a metal allergy? Is that something she can handle? No, I had to go to the allergist. Is that who I went to? I went to someone, but it wasn't her who could do it. My under eye area, she was like, girl, please get out of my face. My lips, I thought that I was facing discoloration on my lips. She was just like, that's the natural color of your lip. And I don't know, maybe I just didn't notice. over time. For church, I've been keeping track in a tab, in-person churches that I like, online churches that I like. And then lastly in here, my nutritionist appointment, multivitamins that I really like, or multivitamins that I need to try based on what she's recommended. My wind down routine, because I have a really hard time falling asleep. So there are things that she was saying around the time of bed I should avoid eating, or things that I should try since I don't want to do melatonin. So that's the long story long of my first tab and the whole idea behind creating my folder. But I just wanted to organize it in different ways so that I could go detail by detail as if it was just like a client of mine and the different things we want to address over time, and I can see like a visual map. So that's what I recommend. Next time I will talk about my next folder, which is art and decor, because that's like an investment that I'm really excited about pursuing. All right, so that's it for part 1. If any of that resonated with you, please let me know down below in the comments. Part 2 is up next, and trust me, it gets a lot more interesting. So I hope to see you there. Till next time.